Well, people used to think of us as the stoners, the outcasts, the criminals. No one wanted to believe our story. The story that could save a million lives. It all started out in the 1930s during the Great Depression, where cannabis was thought to be a drug that caused frantic and abnormal behavior to the human mind. During this time, cannabis was imported from Mexico, creating a large business for the Mexican immigrants. However, at the same time, industrial hemp was just starting to break through the roof. A new machine had been invented to separate hemp fibers more efficiently, making this seem like quite a potential farming business. Since hemp could be used for almost anything, some people began to worry. Having the largest newspaper company in all of America at the time, William Randolph Hearst started to get anxious. In order to switch over from paper to hemp, Hearst would lose millions. He knew just as well as the wealthy DuPont family that industrial hemp could bring them to bankruptcy. Well, what would any millionaire want? To protect their fortune, of course. Hearst was a racist and hated the lower class. He made it his goal to print untruthful lies in his newspaper in order to get the public in uproar over cannabis. He would write things such as Mexicans and blacks would sell cannabis to high school kids who would later become dropouts and drug addicts. He also claimed that the Mexicans and the blacks would rape people while on the drug known as marijuana. Like any generation of people, we loved a good story. People began to be brainwashed, believing that marijuana or hemp was indeed this insane substance that needed to be stopped. Thus, Congress outlawed marijuana or hemp without realizing how much it could be worth. In the 1940s, during World War II, America needed materials in order to build parachutes, rope, and other military equipment. The country was scarce on materials, so they launched the Hemp for Victory program in order to produce those strong fibers that hemp has. In just 3 years, our farmers had harvested 375,000 acres of hemp for good cause. Sadly, after the war ended, hemp was once again looked at the same. Currently, each year, the United States imports around $2 billion worth of hemp from China and Canada. The amount of money we could be saving if we legalized the crop is unfathomable, not to mention the tax we could collect from all the businesses opening up and the jobs we could create for all the younger people. It's time America opens their eyes. This is a revolution. We could create jobs for farmers, trimmers, businessmen, lawyers, security, bankers, retailers, and much, much more. Hemp can be used to make t-shirts, pants, rope, paper, parachutes, you name it. Even the hemp seeds have been found to contain essential fatty acids, protein, calcium, iron, zinc, and vitamins E, B, and C. Sure, hemp can be used for all these different things. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't industrial hemp different than marijuana? Nope. The only difference is that hemp contains about 0.3% THC and marijuana contains around 20% THC. Well, what does that mean? THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is the compound within marijuana that gets a person that so-called quote-unquote high. There are different cannabinoids in the marijuana plant other than THC. CBD, a newer cannabinoid that has been discovered within the cannabis plant, can be used strictly for pain, while THC can be used for sleep deprivation, relaxation, PTSD, and much more. Well, you may ask, how much is much more? A man by the name of Rick Simpson discovered the endless abilities and possibilities with marijuana. By going against everything anyone had ever told him, he found a way to cure. By ingesting hash oil, a concentrate of the cannabinoids within the cannabis plant, and or placing it on a lump of skin, Simpson noticed a change so great no one can describe it. He has treated multiple patients, including himself and his mother, to rid of skin cancer, skin diseases, and even diabetic ulcers. Still not enough? The amazing thing about marijuana is that it is 100% organic. From first-hand experience, the bond between the plant and its container is unbreakable. Worms fill the soil, creating perfect aeration and organic worm castings that are essential in wildlife. Clover rises above the surface to introduce nitrogen to the soil and then mowed down to produce a mulch to cover the worms from the sun. The water is placed outside for 24 hours to dechlorinate before applying, so nothing can get in the way of nature. The cannabis plant rises above all, producing green, beautiful, healthy leaves. Once it flowers, all we growers do is chop, turn upside down, hang them for a week, and then place them in jars. Nothing in this world is more simple and more organic than the flower known as cannabis. All other drugs such as cocaine, heroin, meth, LSD, PCP, and ecstasy all need to undergo a chemical process in order to produce the final drug. Marijuana is just a flower that is essentially dried out and trimmed down with some scissors. Why on earth is this substance considered to be the same as heroin and more harmful to you than cocaine and meth? The Medical College of Virginia had been funded by the National Institutes of Health to find evidence that marijuana hurt the immune system. It didn't last long, however, because the DEA had shut it down after the research came back showing that it significantly decreased the lab rats' pre-placed brain tumors inside of them. Rick Simpson himself has more fabulous stories about how marijuana can truly save lives. However, no one seems to listen. The revolution is here, now in 2016, for the legalization of marijuana in California. So many states have already legalized. Let's not take a step back, but instead a leap of faith and have confidence in this marvelous, life-changing flower.